In this video, we're going to take a look at UnitySync, and we're going to sync user objects from an on-prem domain into mail-enabled contacts in Exchange Online. You might need to do this if you're carrying out a phased migration from on-prem to online Exchange, shutting down your on-prem Exchange server, or working across multiple tenants to support a company merger or acquisition. In each of these cases, all or a subset of users need to be able to find and email each other, and this tool makes syncing these contacts quick and seamless. So here's my destination, Microsoft 365 Exchange Admin Center, and I can see from the screen that I currently don't have any mail-enabled contacts in the system. And we'll come back here after we've run the sync, and we shall see the contacts that have been created. Let's take a look at the source. So here's Active Directory on my on-premises domain, and I've created an OU called sync users. This is just for demonstration purposes, and we could sync all users in the domain or control it as required. And I've created 4 users in this OU, and these are the ones we're going to sync. So let's take a look at UnitySync. So here's the UnitySync console, and we're going to start by creating a new connection. For simplicity, a connection only syncs data in one direction. So we'll click New. We'll give our connection a name, AD to M365. We'll select the source. We can keep what's already here, Active Directory, using the engine LDAP. And our destination is going to be O365, like so. I'm now going to switch to the Source tab. And this is where we can define the connection to our on-premises domain, which is our source. And I need to enter here the host of a domain controller or a LDAP server that we can use. And I'll enter the username and password of an account that has at least read writes on that domain. And for the purposes of our sync that we're doing here, I'm also going to insert the context that tells UnitySync to only search that OU that I've created. Then I'll test the connection to the domain. That's successful, and I'll verify the OU. And that's successful. Now I'll go to the Destination tab. So this is my connection to Microsoft 365, and here I'll enter the ID and password of an account that is a Microsoft 365 admin. But it's also possible to define the specific permissions for maximum security. I'll leave the rest of the settings as default and test the connection. That connection test is successful, and that's all we have to do to set up our source and destination connections. So now I'll come back to the General tab, I'll click Save to save my connection, and now I can run a sync. So we can see that we've got the discovery ticked, the synchronize ticked, and the discovery is the read from the source, which in our case here will be Active Directory, and the synchronize is the write to the target, which will be Microsoft 365. We can also run a simulate, which is a simulated write, where it would just tell us what it would do if we ran. But for now, we'll run the whole discovery and synchronize sync with the batch run like this. UnitySync can also be run from a command line and scheduled as required. Behind the scenes, UnitySync creates an LDIF file for each connection, and it uses this to control the sync process. And when you run a discovery, UnitySync reads from your source connection and updates its connection file, the LDIF file. And then, when you run either a simulation or a sync phase, it reads from this connection file and processes it. So that job is finished. We can see here that it added each object and then modified it as required. So we'll close that window and we'll take a look at our target in Exchange Online. So let's refresh this display. And we can see here the 4 mail-enabled contacts have been created. And this is a very simple use of UnitySync. We're seeing in a demo here. UnitySync can be used in much more complex scenarios, including multiple on-premises and cloud domains, and support for many other types of connections. If you want to know more, if you've got a requirement to do this or more complex requirements, please get in touch.